Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the all-new Genesis G90. Now, I've been living with this for the last week, and so this review is going to be a little bit more in-depth compared to my normal reviews, where I'm basically going to answer the question of whether or not the new G90 is actually worth purchasing. Before we get in this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So this G90 has the E-Supercharger upgrade, so it is a turbocharged 3.5 liter V6. It goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Again, also has the E-Supercharger. Power outputs are 409 horsepower, then 405 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 17 around town and then 24 on the highway. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you can obviously see this one has the matte paint, which looks really cool in person, but notice just how massive that hood is, and of course you got the Genesis logo on the front. Now, popping down below, these headlights look absolutely insane, especially in person, and then you guys can see with the grille, look at the silver trim all around, and then the rest of the trim down at the bottom, pretty much the same. But anyways, you know, putting it all together from a stylistic perspective, this thing looks fantastic in my opinion. Now, coming around the side here, tire wheel setup is 245/40/21 in the front, and then 275/35/21 in the rear. And when it comes to wheel design, pretty intricate, but I think it works with the car. Now, I've got the exterior turn signal indicators here on the outside, which is pretty cool. And then look at the mirror, how that's body painted. Just, yeah, the satin finish is just fantastic. Anyways, we've got all the chrome trim around the windows, and then look at that on the door handles too. And when you put it all together, yes, this is a large car, but the design just absolutely works. It has this elegant appearance to it. Now, I got the new style Genesis key fob, which, yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Notice you can open up the trunk, which we'll do that right now. We got your door lock and unlock. And then also we have the park assist with this, as well as your remote start function. Now, popping inside, you guys can see there's quite a bit of storage space. I mean, it makes sense. It's a full-size sedan, and I like how you've got the netting right here as well. But yeah, super practical. And when you're all done, you can actually just press this button, and then it'll lower the trunk down. Now, I think the taillight design is also really cool here with the G90. And then, of course, got like our G90 badge, Genesis, four-wheel drive as well. Pretty straightforward stuff. Parking sensors there on the back. And then you guys can see the covers of the exhaust tips. Those look great too. But wrapping things up, this is one of the most beautiful brand new cars for sale today. So I think that Genesis did a good job with styling. Well, the door panel is kind of far away, so we'll actually just press this button right here and boom. Brings it to us. Anyways, you guys can see the leather trim here with the forged carbon. Really beautiful design overall. I mean, look at all that. And then you can see all of our different seat functions. So memory seat function, you got the different adjustments. So we can go into like the rest mode, for example. Massaging seat function on top of that. And then look at like the finishes on the window controls. And then, yeah, you guys saw electronic door popper. And then here in the center, tons of controls. So yes, the seats do have a massage function, but they also have a heated and cooled function. We have our own climate zone back here. I mean, literally like any luxury feature you can think of, and also more seat adjustments right here on the side. And then this is just like the little dial to control functions there with the front infotainment system. So like you're in control here in the back, which is pretty crazy. And then you also have a wireless phone charging pad, center console set up pretty, I shouldn't say pretty normal because it's definitely not, but then look at the material use there. And then notice we got some vents here, and then also on the side. And there's forged carbon on the back of the seat, which is quite interesting. And then look at like the pillows here with the headrests, and then you can see the trim back here, really nice. And if you're wondering, legroom, obviously fantastic. Headroom, on the other hand, like it's not bad, but like I'm not that tall, and I'm almost touching the top. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see the trim here, you know, with the forged carbon, everything just looks fantastic. And then we got a bunch of different seat controls here for the front, like the massaging seat. You can adjust the passenger seat as well, memory seat function, and then all of your window controls here with your mirror adjustments. And then that's actually your emergency little button there to open up the door if the electronic release here doesn't work. And then here are the front seats. Really cool design. They're also very comfortable as well. And then we've got all of our power adjustments here on the side. And I do find it interesting that they didn't do a lot with the pedals here, just a thought. And then you guys can see here with the car, you got like stability control there, your parking brake, steering wheel, by the way, power adjustable. And then yeah, more of that forged carbon here. And just look at the design, that looks so cool. Watch this, foot on the brake, instantly closes. So interesting. Now here's a look at the steering wheel. I actually really like the 2-spoke design. You got paddle shifters here in the back. We've got like some controls here for like your voice command controls, volume controls, so you know, all the normal stuff. And then we've got adaptive cruise control over here. This does have the steering assist, so like this car basically drives itself. It's actually a really good system. And then you get your regular stocks here on the back. Now I've got this full digital gauge cluster here, and you guys can see what I've been averaging with fuel economy so far with the car. I think that's pretty dang impressive. And the next thing is actually the drive modes. So notice we got a cool little animation there with the modes. I think that's pretty fun. And then sport mode actually tightens the bolsters around you, which is pretty cool. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. You got the bird's eye view because this has a full 360 camera. So yeah, really good camera system. I like how it has funky wheels just like our car. That's kind of cool. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, I can actually control it with a dial. It is also a touchscreen. It's extremely responsive. There's so many different functions that I could dive into, but just know that there's lots of customization with this car. And I mean, I love the little 3D setup where you can basically pull up this diagram and then you can go into different functions in the car and set them up. But you get to, like, I don't know, click on where it is on the car. So I think that's pretty good, but great infotainment system. And then again, I just want you guys to appreciate the overall, like, design, this interior, and like look at the forged carbon that goes across all of that. And then you guys can see here with our climate controls, again, dual zone climate. This also has the perfume spray or whatever you want to call it. It does smell good in here, so I guess that's a plus. And they got some cup holder action just below that as well. Lots of controls here. So this is for the infotainment system, and then you guys can see with the volume and radio station control. I actually love these controls. They feel really good, but like just the actual like daily usability of them is fantastic. More cars need to have something like this. And yeah, don't get these two mixed up. That's all I gotta say. We do have heated and cooled seats down here. Drive mode select, your parking sensors, for camera system. This is for the doors to close them. And then you guys can see wireless phone charging pad. And then there's a button right there to open up the center console, which is pretty cavernous. It does have nice trim on it though. Almost forgot, glove box. It's large, just like the car, and it's lined with felt. And then up top, we have our controls for the sunroofs. The reason I said sunroofs is because we have this one up front. We've got another one in the back, and then those are just mirrors for the back passengers. Man, it's bougie back there. And then also really nice headliner. So here's our window sticker for this G90. You guys can see the base price is just under $100,000. It says it's under $100,000. Anyways, total MSRP, $101,295,000. Let's see how this thing drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's visibility over the hood. Hope you can now see see the heads-up display rather. Both the mirrors do blind spot monitoring and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off in the G90, and like I said at the beginning of the video, I've been living with this for a week and I've absolutely loved the time of the car. This is a great luxury car. Ride quality is obviously fantastic. It has the road scanning technology where it'll basically see what's happening, so then it can adjust the suspension so it makes sure that, well, it's as comfortable as possible going over the bumps. And it does, frankly, a really good job. And then obviously having a super long wheelbase also helps out with ride quality as well. But yeah, I mean, this just has the luxury car stuff. Also, turn signal camera, always gotta love that. You got the massaging seats. The seats are really comfortable. The drive, everything's comfortable with this car. And because of the self-driving tech that this has, it makes it so it kind of adds to luxury experience. And then here's full throttle. It's pretty quick. It adds to luxury experience because you just have basically you're driving the car, but the car's kind of chauffeuring you, which I think is pretty cool. And so it does a really good job as a luxury car. And in a vacuum, I mean, just an amazing vehicle. Now, aside from that, let's kind of talk about some of the things that I'm not a huge fan of. So first off, the doors. I understand that like this is like what modern luxury is going towards, is cool tech features like the door like closes for you like a chauffeur. I get it. It's super annoying in practical use because like I constantly like find myself like having to muscle the door open because it only partially cracks it open. It doesn't like fully open it. So that part's annoying. I'd rather just have, if it's gonna have doors like this, it needs to open and close all the way, not just close all the way and open part of the way, or it just needs to have regular doors, frankly. And then the other part is frankly the powertrain. This is a good base powertrain, but this is the top line powertrain. The reason I say good base powertrain is like this is what like the S-Class has as their base powertrain. Is it's not a V6, it's an inline 6, but again, 6-cylinder turbocharged powertrain. Genesis needs to offer a more premium powertrain with this. Not an electric version, but like a V8 powered version. Again, Mercedes does that, and that's why the S-Class still sells really well for the segment that it's in, because you can get it with a twin turbo 4-liter V8. And so yeah, it's just, again, as a base powertrain is fine, but like it's kind of a letdown. Like this, it's just not powerful enough, frankly, for this type of car. Again, I think that cars like this need to at least have a V8. I feel like part of the luxury experience is having a smooth acceleration experience, and this just doesn't have that because the powertrain. It's fine when you're just partial throttle, but like when you get on it, it's yeah, it's a little bit lackluster. But aside from that, I really like the car. I think Genesis has done a really good job. They basically are offering a very, very premium luxury car at a big discount compared to BMW, Audi, Mercedes. Lexus is pretty similarly priced to this, but the Lexus feels the new, right? LS 500 feels ancient compared to this thing. Doesn't have nearly as many cool features. And so, yeah, I think this is great. If you're looking for like a bargain, that's what this provides, but I just don't think people in the segment are looking for a bargain. I think that they're looking for like features and all that kind of stuff. So I would say if Genesis wants this to like truly succeed, in just my personal opinion, figure out the door situation, and then more premium powertrain. If you really want to compete with the S-Class, if you really want to compete with the 7 Series, and this is way more pretty than the 7 Series, by the way. I'm saying compete in terms of drivability and features. Throw a V8 under the hood. Let me know what you guys think about the new G90.